the members of the National Assembly this afternoon shall also consider a motion. This is a motion regarding the Draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the remuneration and benefits of the state and other public officers regulations for the year 2025. This is a motion that will be moved by the Chairperson, Committee on Delegated Legislation, Honorable Samuel Chepkonga. And in this particular report or draft, the House or the committee seeking to have the House adopt this particular report that was laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 12th March, the year 2026, as well as approve this particular document, however, with amendments. So this report by the Committee on Delegated Legislation seeks the House to approve the Draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the remuneration and benefits of state and other public officers 2025 with amendments. These regulations seek to operationalize SRC's constitutional mandate by setting out the procedure for setting and reviewing remuneration and benefits of state officers, also advising on remuneration and benefits of other public officers, and reviewing all matters relating to salaries and remuneration of other public officers. Now, this is a report that the members of the National Assembly this afternoon shall be able to consider. That is a motion that the members of the National Assembly shall be able to consider. We shall take a look at some of the recommendations and observations that the committee made regarding this particular draft However, at the entrance of the National Assembly chambers, as you can see, there are some activities. That is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Moses Masika Wetangula, making his way into the chamber to preside over this afternoon sitting. You will allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. A warm welcome to you. Good afternoon.
Waheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wa wanadamu. Tunakusihi utazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao wameridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tunakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tunakutania hapa, na utujalie na tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yetu tutakayofikisha mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako siendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, 2nd April 2026. Auditor General's report on status of implementation of recommendation on the report of the Public Accounts Committee and the 24th report of Public Investments Committee in the financial year 2020 and 2021. B, report of the Auditor General on annual report and financial statement for the year 2024-2025 ended 30th June 2025 from Kirinyaga University. C, county government budget implementation review reports for the first 6 months for the year 2025-2026 from the Office of the Controller of Budget, and D, reports of the Auditor General and financial statement for the year ended 30th June 2025 and the certificates therein in respect of 1, Bungoma National Polytechnic, 2, Cooperative University of Kenya, 3, David Mbithi Wambuli Technical and Vocational College, 4, Egerton University, 5, Entebbe's Technical Training Institute, 6, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, 7, Kagumo Teachers Training College, 8, Katine Technical Training Institute, 9, Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, Car Loan and Mortgage Fund, 10, Kenyatta University, 11, Kieni Technical and Vocational College, 12, Kipipiri Technical and Vocational College, 13, Kisii University, 14, Lance Limited, 15, Larry Technical and Vocational College, 16, Mandera Teachers Training College, 17, Multimedia University of Kenya, 18, Muranga Teachers Training College, 19, Nachu Technical and Vocational College, 20, New Technical and Vocational College, 21, PC Kinyajui Technical Training Institute, 22, Railway Development Levy Fund Holding Accounts, State Department for Transport, 23, Rarieda Technical and Vocational College, 24, Ruiru Technical and Vocational College, 25, Shamberere National Polytechnic, 26, SOT Technical Training Institute, 27, St. Augustine Teachers Training College, Iregi, 28, Staff Mortgage and Car Loan Scheme, Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, 29, the Mawego National Polytechnic, and 30, Dogodo Teachers Training College. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Thank you, Naomi. Chairperson, Public Investments Committee on Commercial Affairs and Energy.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the floor of the House. Today, Thursday, 2nd April 2026. Fourth report of the Public Investment Committee on Commercial Affairs and Energy on its examination of the audited financial statements of selected state corporations in energy sector. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chairperson, Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture. Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 2nd April 2026. Ninth report of the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture on the consideration of audited financial statements of the following state corporations. 1, Kenya Medical Supplies Authority for the financial year 2021-2022. 2, Agriculture and Food Authority for the financial years 2014-15, 15-16, 16-17, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 2020-21, 21-22, 22-23, and 23-24. 3, T-Board of Kenya for the financial years 2021-22, 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. 4, National Social Security Fund for the financial year 2024-25. 5, National Hospital Insurance Fund, Social Health Authority for the financial years 2021-22, 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. And 6, Kenya Planned Health Inspectorate Services for the financial years 2017-18, 18-19, 19-20, 2020-21, 21-22, 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chairperson, Mediation Committee, Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 2nd April 2026. The report of the Mediation Committee on the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill, the National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2023. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations, Major Bashir.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 2nd April 2026. Report of the Royal Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations on its consideration of the following defense cooperation agreements between 1, the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the French Republic. 2, the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Czech Republic. 3, the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the People's Republic of China. 4, the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. And 5, the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chairperson, Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education, Mwamboka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 2nd April 2026. Reports of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education on 1, the 11th report on the examination of audited financial statements of state corporations for various universities for the financial years 2018-19, 2019-20, 2020-21, 2021-22, 2022-23, 2023-24, and 2024-25. And 2, the 12th report of the examination of audited financial statements of state corporations national polytechnics for the financial years 2021-22, 2022-23, 2023-24, and 2024-25. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson, Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that this House adopts the 9th report of the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture on its examination of audited financial statements of the following state corporations laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 2nd April 2026. 1, Kenya Medical Supplies Authority for the financial year 2021-22. 2, Agriculture and Food Authority for the financial years 2014-15, 15-16, 16-17, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 2020-21, 21-22, 22-23, and 23-24. 3, T-Board of Kenya for the financial years 2021-22, 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. 4, National Social Security Fund for the financial year 2024-25. 5, National Hospital Insurance Fund in brackets Social Health Authority for the financial years 2021-22, 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. And 6, Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service for the financial years 2017-18, 18-19, 19-20, 2020-21, 21-22, 22-23, 23-24, and 24-25. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Co-Chairperson, Mediation Committee, Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That pursuant to provision of Article 1132 of the Constitution of Kenya and Standing Order 1503, this House adopts the report of Mediation Committee on the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2023, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 2nd April 2026, and approves the mediated version of the Food and Feed Safety Control Coordination Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2023. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Sabina. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, Bashir.
Notice of motion, consideration of defense cooperation agreements. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on its consideration of the defense cooperation agreements laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 2nd April 2026, and pursuant to the provision of Section 8.4 of the Treaty Making and Ratification Act, Cap 4D, approves the ratification of the following defense cooperation agreements. A, agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the French Republic, subject to reservations on Articles 9.5 and 13.3, and inclusion of new articles on community relations, environmental protection, and training areas. B, agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Czech Republic, subject to reservations on Article 14 and inclusion of a new provision on jurisdiction. C, agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the People's Republic of China, subject to reservations on Article 10.22 and inclusion of a new provision on training areas. D, agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, subject to reservations on Article 11. And E, agreement between the Government of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, subject to reservations on Articles 11.5 and inclusion of new article on environmental protection and training areas. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Chairperson, Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education, Wambaka. There's one next.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Public Investments Committee on Governance and Education on its examination of audited financial statements of the following universities for financial years 2018-19, 2019-20, 2020-21, 2021-22, 2022-23, 2023-24, and 2024-25, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 2nd April 2026. 1, Kibabi University College. 2, Tharaka University. 3, Rongo University. 4, Pwani University. 5, Kisii University. 6, Technical University of Mombasa Enterprise Limited. 7, Egerton University. And 8, Tomboya University. Can I proceed to the second, Honorable Speaker?
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
That, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts a report of the Public Investment Committee on Governance and Education on its examination of audited financial statements of the following national polytechnics for the financial years 2018-19, 2019-20, 2020-21, 2021-22, 2022-23, 2023-24, and 2024-2025 laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 2nd April 2026. 1, Kabete National Polytechnic. 2, the Kenya Coast Polytechnic. 3, Kisumu National Polytechnic. 4, Michuki National Polytechnic. 5, Nairobi National Polytechnic. 6, Taita Taveta National Polytechnic. 7, Nyamira National Polytechnic. 8, Mawego National Polytechnic. And 9, Bungoma National Polytechnic. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Before the next order, honorable members, allow me to acknowledge the following in the Speaker's Gallery. Good Shepherd Primary School from Kitui Central, Kitui. Moyale Girls Senior School from Moyale, Marsabit. Asumbi Girls Senior School from Rangwe, Homa Bay. In the public gallery, Ewangan School from Narok North, Narok. St. Augustine Catholic, I believe is a school. Is it a school or a church? St. Augustine Catholic from Joro, Nakuru. I've been requested by 2 MPs to welcome schools from the jurisdiction. 1 minute each. Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me join you also in welcoming all the students to Parliament, and more specifically, Good Shepherd School from my constituency. Honorable Speaker, I want to encourage all the students who are here to observe what happens in Parliament, Honorable Speaker, and tell them that everything is possible.
Okay.
At one point in time, we were seated where you sit today as students. Today, we are here as members of Parliament. So you can also be the same, so long as you remain focused and committed to your studies. Most welcome. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Jaldeza, Professor, 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Along with what you have welcomed, I also want to welcome all the students who are in the House to the House of Parliament and tell them that in the very near future, there will be the leaders who will be sitting in this House, and they should be aspiring for the same. Mr. Speaker, I want to specifically congratulate my Moyale Girls High School, who are here, and in the last year's KCSE exam, these people got 97.5% who attained the minimum university entry requirement. And I hope they will continue with that hard work. The majority leader is not here. I wanted to tell him that we are not actually aiming to go to alliance. Our alliance is these girls here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Pareo, 1 minute. Give Mama Pareo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to welcome Ewangan Primary School to this 13th Parliament. I want to welcome them and wish them a safe journey as they go back. And I just want to tell them that to use this opportunity as a learning process so that they can also see what happens in Parliament. And tomorrow, I know some of them, or one of them, could have an opportunity also to be in this house. And I wish them all the safe journey as they go back home. Thank you.
Thank you on my behalf and on behalf of the House. We welcome all the students. Naomi, you want to say something? Go ahead. I had said I give Moyale only one bite.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I know you have given me that consideration. On behalf of Marsabit County MPs who are here, I want to welcome all the students who are here, and especially Moyale girls. We are proud of you. And just to encourage you that, you know, all of us were there where you are one time, and today we are here. Aim higher and make sure that the sky is the beginning for you. We are proud of you. Safe journey. Honorable Speaker, Moyale is over 800 kilometers from here. So I'm happy that Moyale girls are here. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You now have been to Moyale very many times, so I know where it is. Honorable members, on my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Still at order number 6, Honorable Posing, you had been omitted on the listing. Go ahead and give your notice of motion.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That this House adopts the report of the Public Investment Committee on Commercial Affairs and Energy on its examination of audited financial statements of the selected state corporations in the energy sector, laid on the floor of the House on Thursday, 2nd April 2026. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Member for Kericho County, Beatrice Kemei.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to request for a statement regarding the circumstances surrounding the burial of multiple unidentified bodies at the Kericho County Cemetery. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the circumstances surrounding the burial of multiple unidentified bodies in a mass grave at the Kericho County Cemetery. Honorable Speaker, the recent discovery of a mass grave in Kericho has occasioned serious public concern owing to the apparent lack of transparency, possible breach of inter-county protocols, and the potential public health and security implications. It is reported that a number of bodies allegedly originating from Nyamira County were transported and interred in a mass grave at the Kericho County Cemetery under unclear circumstances. Of particular concern is the reported discrepancy wherein Nyamira County government is said to have been granted the burial approval for 13 bodies, yet a total of 33 bodies were untimely interred, raising serious questions as to the origin, identification, and legality of the burial of the additional bodies. Honorable Speaker, the handling, transfer, and disposal of human remains is governed by established legal frameworks, including the Public Health Act, CAP 242, and the National Coroner's Service Act, CAP 89. Both laws require strict adherence to procedures on alteration, postmortem examination, identification, record keeping, and intergovernmental coordination with regard to disposal of bodies. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1, a report on whether the burial of the said bodies was duly authorized, including confirmation of all permits issued, and whether the county government of Nyamira obtained requisite approvals from the county government of Kericho and relevant national authorities in compliance with applicable laws and inter-county protocols. 2, a comprehensive account on the discrepancy between the reported approval for payroll of 13 bodies and the actual interment of 33 bodies, including verified information of all the bodies, specifying their origin, identify status, documented circumstances of death, and reason for mass disposal. Third, plans by the government to undertake comprehensive forensic identification of the bodies, including data analysis to establish their identities and notify their next of kin for closure and decent burial. 4, a report on the status and findings of investigations into the deaths, transportation and burial of the bodies, and the measures being taken to ensure accountability and prevent reoccurrence. Honorable Speaker, this matter touches on the dignity of the deceased, the rights of families, public health, and the security of our community. It is therefore imperative that a thorough, transparent, and timely investigation be conducted and a comprehensive report be tabled before this Honorable House. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair Security. Chair Security, I direct that response comes from 2 committees, Security and Health. Naomi, can you communicate to them that give them a week? By next Thursday, I want a report here.
Obliged.
From
Yeah,
both
most
committees.
obliged. I'm sure they will do that, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Member for Rwanda, Dick Maungu.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the implementation of the planned routing of Naivasha-Kisumu-Malaba Standard Gauge Railway, SGR. Honorable Speaker, on 19th March 2026, the government officially launched the construction of Naivasha-Kisumu-Malaba SGR Phase 2B and C, which is intended to extend the SGR from Naivasha to Kisumu and ultimately to Malaba at the Kenya-Uganda border. The project spans approximately 370 kilometers and is expected to traverse 9 counties, namely Narok, Bomet, Nyamira, Kericho, Kisumu, Siaya, Vihiga, Kakamega, and Busia. This SGR, Mr. Speaker, is an extension to enhance regional connectivity, facilitate trade, reduce the cost of transportation, and position Kenya as a logistics hub within East and Central Africa. To a large extent, the project follows the routing of the earlier meter gauge railway currently in place. Notably, the MGR route consisted of railway station at Luanda in Vihiga County. This station has been in existence for over 80 years. However, Mr. Speaker, project details indicate that there is currently no designated SGR station in the whole of Vihiga County. This omission of a station in Vihiga County, and specifically the removal of the current station at Luanda, raises concerns regarding equity and inclusivity in national infrastructure development initiatives and risks displacing economic opportunities from Luanda constituency. Additionally, this extension is likely to disadvantage the residents of Vihiga County who have historically relied on railway connectivity for trade and mobility. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1, a report on the approved station plan and routing framework for the Naivasha-Kisumu-Malaba SGR, including reasons for the omission of a station in Vihiga and Luanda constituency. 2, requests on the public participation and stakeholder consultation undertaken prior to altering the initial station plans with respect to Vihiga County and specifically Luanda constituency. 3, Measures that the Ministry of Roads and Transport is taking to ensure that Vihiga County is not excluded from socio-economic benefits of SGR, including reinstating the station at Luanda. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Chair Transport, any member? Coming. How long do you want to? Pardon?
2 weeks. 2 weeks, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Adan Yusuf Haji, member Mandera West.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, sir. Pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the disappearance of one Mr. Shukri Hassan Ali. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Shukri Hassan Ali, ID card number written here, and a resident of Mandera County, currently residing in Nairobi, was reportedly abducted by unknown persons on the night of 28th March 2026. Mr. Hassan had gone to visit a sickly relative in Feather Estate of Nairobi when he went missing. His mobile phone signal was last traced at the Runda area along Kiambu Road before it was switched off, and his whereabouts have since remained unknown. The matter was formally reported at California Police Station under OB number 52-30-03-2026 on 30th March 2026. Honorable Speaker, sir, despite the prompt reporting of this serious incident, there has been no substantive update from the relevant authorities. The continued silence has subjected the family to profound distress and uncertainty, while also heightening the public concern over the rise of such incidences. Honorable Speaker, this case and others of similar nature raise serious questions regarding the effectiveness of the security and the investigative framework, as well as the state's obligation to safeguarding the lives and liberties of its citizens. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1, the current status of investigation into the abduction of Mr. Shukri Hassan Ali, including specific progress made since the matter was reported and the measures undertaken to trace his last known movement in Feather Estate and Runda areas. Number 2, progress of identification of any suspect or criminal networks or organized groups in connection with this and similar abductions, and actions being taken to apprehend and prosecute those responsible. Number 3, the timeliness within which the government can provide to the family, the public a report regarding the whereabouts and the safety of the victim. Number 4, immediate and long-term intervention being implemented by the ministry to curb cases of abduction and enforced disappearances. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Yusuf. The chair of the committee. Is it security?
Yes,
Leader Russell.
Mr. Speaker, I will respond in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Yes, you are not here when there was a request from the Kericho Women Rep, and I directed that next week on Thursday, your committee and Committee on Health, you bring a report on the 33 bodies that were buried in a mass grave in Kericho.
Most obliged, Mr.
You work jointly with health. It's a security issue, it's a health issue. Bernard Kitur, member for Nandi Hills.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the poor road design of Mombasa-Malindi Highway, specifically at Kadzengo area. Honorable Speaker, the Mombasa-Malindi Highway is a key route that serves the coastal region, facilitating the transportation of goods and passengers and fostering trade and tourism. However, the highway, particularly the section at Kadzengo, critical road safety features, including properly designed speed bumps, clear road markings, and substandard signage. This has exposed motorists and other road users to safety risks. Since the completion of the road, multiple accidents on the road have been attributed to the poor design of the road, especially the absence of visible road markings and signage. In fact, on the 10th of April, 2025, a 25-year-old Mr. Hezron Kiprotich of ID number 3831-7443 lost his life in a road accident at Kadzengo area. Road users have raised concerns severally about missing signages and lack of traffic safety infrastructure, yet remedial action has not been taken to date. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. Number one, plans by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to install proper signages and additional safety interventions, such as reflective road signage and lighting in the Kadzengo area section to reduce the risks of accidents along the Mombasa-Malindi Highway. Number two, the expected timelines for the completion of the installation of these road safety measures and design corrections. And finally, Honorable Speaker, plans by the ministry to compensate the family of the late Mr. Hezron Kiprotich and measures in place to support victims of accidents caused by poor road infrastructure. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair Transport, Majority Leader Naomi. And, Komingo is there, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think let's report together with the other statement in 2 weeks' time.
Okay. Abdul Haro, member for Mandera South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to request for a statement regarding the status and operationalization of Kutulo Airstrip in Mandera County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the condition and operationalization of Kutulo Airstrip in Mandera County. Honorable Speaker, the Kutulo Airstrip was constructed in 2019 to serve the residents of Mandera South and Tarbach constituencies, as well as neighboring towns including Korovharar, Wajir, Gunana, Takaba, Elwak, and other adjacent regions. Despite its strategic importance in ensuring connectivity in northern Kenya, Kutulo Airstrip is currently non-operational. The continued non-utilization of the airstrip has led to its deterioration, negatively impacting connectivity and socio-economic development in northern Kenya. Operationalization of the airstrip would facilitate access to essential services, reduce travel time to northern Kenya, and promote trade and investment in the region. Further, in a region prone to emergencies including drought, floods, and insecurity, a functional airstrip would enable rapid humanitarian response and evacuation, especially when road infrastructure becomes inadequate or impassable. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1. A report on the status of Kutulo Airstrip including the total cost incurred in its construction and the reason for its current non-operational status, including any legal, regulatory, or administrative constraints. 2, the measures put in place by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to rehabilitate, upgrade, and operationalize Kutulo Airstrip, including budgetary allocations and expected completion times. And 3, steps being taken to safeguard existing infrastructure at the airstrip from further deterioration pending its operationalization. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Harold. Chair Transport, Komingoi. Chair Transport, pay attention.
Yes, sir. Yes, Honorable Speaker.
When can you bring a response?
In 2 weeks, Honorable Speaker, and I'm also reminded some of the questions, like the question for Kitur, lapsed in the other session while we had a response already. So maybe you can consolidate them so that we can be able to submit them in the 2 weeks.
That's all right, 2 weeks it is. Majority Leader, your Thursday statement. Where is the Majority Leader? Naomi, are you ready? He was consulting behind here. Majority Leader, your Thursday statement.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, I had consultations at the back there with the chairs of committees. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2a, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 1st April 2026, to prioritize business for consideration during the week and the business coming before the House in the following week. Honorable Speaker, I wish to officially welcome members back from the just concluded short recess and commend the committees for diligently utilizing the recess to finalize on priority business that was referred to them before proceeding on the recess. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to singularly laud the Public Petitions Committee for the exemplary work done during the recess by prioritizing the consideration of various public petitions. You may recall that yesterday, Wednesday, 1st April, the chairperson of the committee tabled a record 15 reports on public participation that have been pending before it. I urge all other committees who are here to finalize their pending business to emulate this dedication and expedite consideration of such pending business. With regard to business scheduled for Tuesday next week, the House is expected to continue with consideration of the following bills, should they not be concluded today. One is the Fisheries Management and Development Bill of 2023, and I see the chair of the committee is present, the Honorable Kangogo. 2 is the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill of 2025, and 3, the Quality Healthcare and Patient Safety Bill of 2025. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, the House will continue with the consideration of the following motions should they not be concluded in the course of business today. 1, Draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Remuneration and Benefits of State and Other Public Officers, Regulations of 2025. 2, ukaguzi kwa asasi zisizo huru kikamilifu za Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki na ushoroba wa kati katika Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Reports of the Kenya delegation to the 147th, 148th, and 149th and 150th Assemblies of the Interparliamentary Union and related meetings. 4, consideration of the Public Finance Management, State Officers and Public Officers Motor Car Loan Scheme Fund, Amendment Regulations of 2025. 5, consideration of the Public Finance Management Wildlife Conservation Trust Fund, Regulations of 2025. 6, consideration of a petition regarding delay in resettlement of squatters under the Chepkumia Land Exchange Program. 7, 10th report of the audited accounts of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for specified constituencies for the financial years 2016-2017 to 2021-2022. 8 is the 5th report on the audited accounts of various state corporations in Western Region for the financial years 2018-2019 to 2020-2021. 9 is the 11th report on the audited accounts of the National Government Constituency Development Fund for specified constituencies for the financial years 2016-2017 to 2021-2022. 10 is the 7th report on the audited accounts of various state corporations for the financial years 2018-2019 to 2020-2021. And lastly, inquiry into the pricing of tea in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I note that various bills referred to mediation committees are still pending consideration. In this regard, I urge members of the National Assembly appointed to mediation committees and the chairs designated to lead those mediation committees or to co-chair on respective bills to engage our Senate counterparts with a view to prioritizing the pending mediation processes on the affected bills. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the House Business Committee,
Majority Leader, I would direct you to get in touch with your counterpart in the Senate.
Yes.
And meet all designated co-chairs of mediation committees on various bills. Some have gone for 6 months, if not more.
Some over here.
Some over here.
I will do that. Also obliged, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was saying in conclusion, on behalf of the House Business Committee, and indeed on my own behalf, allow me to take this opportunity to wish all members a happy Easter. And the House Business Committee shall reconvene on Tuesday, 7th April 2026 to schedule business for the rest of that week. I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. And thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with your indulgence, as you very well noted yesterday, Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Public Petitions has done exemplary well. And we must commend this Public Petitions Committee and the new chair, the Honorable Karemba Musangi, because they concluded 15 reports over the recess period. That is why, Honorable Speaker, when we say that the short recesses are usually working recesses, besides all the other departmental committees and the Budget and Appropriations Committee that were very busy during the short recess, considering the supplementary budget that we began consideration of yesterday, the Public Petitions Committee has also set a very good example, and we want to encourage all other committees, and indeed, Speaker, as you have rightly said, to also engage our counterparts in the Senate on pending business before the committees for bills that have been referred for mediation. I have particularly in mind the Committee for Agriculture, the Food and Feed Safety Bill, which I think is a 2023 bill that is still in mediation between the two houses. And I want to urge members, as much as I know we are going on a short break for Easter, and I know many of us may not be working this short recess. Or it's not a short recess, it's a short break for Easter. But let us take time to rest those 4 days. I know it is the usual break that we usually break Friday to Monday, but this being Easter period, let us also take time to join fellow Christians in our churches and continue encouraging our church leaders and our clergy to continue praying for this nation, praying for leaders. And those leaders are you who are elected by the people. But also, Honorable Speaker, because I've heard the clergy being asked not to meddle in politics. And they have been accused of having prayed administrations into office. Honorable Speaker, it's important to say that the clergy and the church has a cardinal responsibility to pray not just for leaders, but also for the country. And should prayers be answered in a way that does not please somebody, you should not blame the church. You pray to God to answer prayers according to his will. We never pray to God to answer our prayers according to individuals' will. Therefore, he who is unhappy because prayers were not answered as he desired, I would plead with him, please, it is time to heal. It is time to heal. And accept that the will of God can never be the will of man. And there shall never be a time that the people in this country will worship a man or indeed worship a family. It will never happen. Therefore, allow the people of Kenya to pray and to be led by their clergy and the church in prayers for the nation, prayers for the president, prayers for the leaders, like the leaders who are in this house and others out there. Because we cannot demonize the church and accuse the church of having misled the nation because you think they did not pray for you to succeed where you wanted to succeed. Please heal. It is time to heal and move on. Honorable Speaker, I say that because I am a Christian. And I know when I pray and I plead to my God to guide and lead me, I leave it to God to do his will. I may have my will and my desire, but I cannot superimpose that on God, leave alone the people of Kenya. And I have seen there's somebody now who wants to superimpose his will and his desires on the people of Kenya and even on God and force the church to pray the way he wants them to pray. Honorable Speaker, I say that with immense respect to those who may imagine that they sit in a place where God sits. My brother, you are a human being like everybody else. Your desire, your will is not the will of God. Therefore, accept, move on, and heal. It is good for you. It is good for the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader, you should remind them that God has never suffered from memory loss.
Indeed, Honorable Speaker, that quotable quote came from you.
Yes.
That the Almighty God has never suffered from memory loss.
Yes.
And that God that we prayed for and our religious leaders led us to pray to is still the God we have on the throne today.
Absolutely.
And therefore, they should relax. Yes. I know they accuse people of having made mistakes, but the people also never make mistakes. The people elect the leaders that they want, not the leaders that you want as a person. You may want somebody else, the people want somebody else, and you must accept and move on.
Thank you. Next order. Order number 8.
Order number 8, the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, second reading.
Honorable members, we have a supplementary order paper. At order number 8, the attentive members, at order number 8, the appropriation bill on supplementary is exactly a regurgitation of what you debated last evening up to 9:10 on the motion on supplementary estimates. So I will allocate this bill only 30 minutes. Anybody who has issues, you can prosecute them at order number 9, Committee of the Whole. That's when you will scrutinize and look at the supplementary appropriation bill and pass the minute details therein. So member for Alego Usonga, you're invited to move the second reading, line up your seconder, and in 30 minutes, we go to Committee of the Whole, if not less. Yes, what's your point of order, Jared?
Where is the order paper?
Yes, Jared?
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you've given a very good direction as regards the allocated amount of time to discuss this. I would seek your indulgence that you also go a little further and give everybody 2 minutes, because many would be interested in discussing this. Therefore, as many as can be accommodated.
Unless you want to be tautologous.
Yeah.
You know what tautology means?
Yes.
Unless you want to be tautologous.
Yeah.
I was in the chamber watching. Almost everybody who was here spoke on supplementary yesterday. Yeah. This bill is exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's improper use of time to repeat yourselves over and over the same thing.
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
The best prosecution of this matter is at order number 9.
Correct.
For those who have issues, and veterans like Enan can tell you that those who missed issues in the motion yesterday can deal with them at committee stage.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Chair, so that is
But
the
I
guidance
agree
I
with
sought
you
from
that
you.
those who want to speak to this, 2 minutes will be even more than enough. Yes, Atandi?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move that the Supplementary Appropriations Bill, Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, be now read a second time. Honorable Speaker, as you have rightfully guided, yesterday the House spent more than 6 hours discussing and approving the supplementary estimates 1 for 2025-2026 financial year. And I want to, first of all, thank the members who stayed late into the House up to 9 p.m. to give us the approval for the same.
Actually, the House rose at 9:10.
Yes, 9:10. And Honorable Speaker, as you have rightfully said, the appropriations bill is the same as the estimates, supplementary estimates which we passed yesterday. So the appropriations bill is basically to give the government powers to withdraw the same from the consolidated fund. And this is really what we are really asking for members to give us the approval so that the government can be able to move with speed and begin to spend the resources. Honorable Speaker, I just want to repeat that the estimates as were discussed yesterday included an increase of 232, 427, 326, 355, as in respect to the votes that were contained in the first schedule. Honorable Speaker, the schedules will be brought to the House shortly. In the next few minutes, the schedules will be here and members will be able to go through them. But overall, the supplementary estimates approved an increase of 316.7 billion. This is an increase of about 7% of the main budget which we passed. Because, Honorable Speaker, the budget was passed at 4.3 trillion. Now, with these supplementary estimates, we are now going to have a budget of 4.6 trillion. Honorable Speaker, overall, that is basically the increase that we are approving, the resources we are approving to be spent under the supplementary one. Honorable Speaker, as I explained yesterday, we have been discussing these estimates as a House with all committees. And one thing that is coming out from the estimates is that we are not making changes on our development vote. And all the projects that were passed in this House for this financial year have been protected. And when I spoke to National Treasury, I confirmed that resources have been released to the agencies to implement the programs. And even as members go for recess, your projects are going on the ground. And I want to urge members to be attentive in your constituencies so that development projects in your constituencies, you take care of them, you monitor them, you own them, because development is legislated here in the House. I want to urge members that in the past I have seen governors taking advantage of projects that are funded by national government in your constituencies. I want to alert members that these projects are yours. And if there's any project that we have approved on this House implemented in your constituency, you must be able to take charge to ensure that we promote the good of the broad-based government. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to speak more. I don't want to speak more because I want to allow members who are not here yesterday to be able to ventilate. My Vice Chairman, I can't see my Vice Chairman here. Therefore, I would like to ask the Leader of Majority to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second this motion for adoption of the supplementary appropriations bill for the first supplementary of this financial year. Honorable Speaker, there's nothing much to say because we said this in second reading of the report. But as I indicated in second reading of the report, quite a number of sectors are benefiting from this supplementary budget. Top among them, our university students, who are getting an extra 15.4 billion shillings going towards the Higher Education Loans Board and the University Funding Board. to ensure that no child misses an opportunity to access higher education. There is also money going to the primary health care fund, a lot of money also going to make sure that every Kenyan who accesses a primary health care facility, whether it is public or private, and that facility is enlisted under SHA, and also the patient who is visiting that hospital is registered under SHA, they get primary health care at no cost or at the cost of the taxpayer or the government of Kenya, since that money that is being paid in the primary health care fund is going to cater for such bills. Honorable Speaker, again, there is a regularization of the 223 items, especially those that dealt with the drought situation. And you remember there are many members who did request for statements and file questions around what government was doing around the question of drought last year and at the beginning of this year. We thank God for the rains, but the rains also have come up with another challenge of floods, and therefore there is need also to have contingency measures around flood mitigation, both in urban and rural areas, to ensure that we do not lose lives. Honorable Speaker, lastly, we must prepare for the aftershocks of the war in the Gulf. As I said yesterday, Honorable Speaker, it is expected that in due course, fuel prices will change, not just in Kenya, but around the globe. Indeed, they have started changing. If you look at the situation in the United States, as much as I hear President Trump saying they have adequate oil to sell to others, even within the United States, prices of oil are going up, and therefore Kenya will not be an exception. And therefore we must be prepared and have measures to mitigate against some of these aftershocks of the war. The war will also disrupt business in other sectors, those who import. Many of us witnessed recently what came with the global world trade, with the disruption of the shipping lines or shipping routes to the Middle East and out of the Middle East. But also the opportunities, Honorable Speaker. You saw the close to 9,000 cars that are being transshipped from the port in Lamu. And that tells us the strategic location that we are at as a nation, not just for our airports as a hub in the region, but also for our seaports. The port of Lamu and the port of Mombasa can become an alternative port of transshipment in and out of the Middle East to the rest of the world, and as a connecting transshipment point between Asia, Europe, and the Americas. And the same opportunities are abound with our airports. And that is why when we enacted the National Infrastructure Fund, which I note yesterday the President did gazette members of the Governing Council, and we look forward to this Governing Council now sitting to begin to recruit members of the board so that this board can become a reality and they can begin work in earnest to make sure that we build a new hub at our airport at JKIA and develop many of our other airports to ensure that this becomes a focal point for global trade and global movement of citizens of the world. You can imagine with the trade, Honorable Speaker, the opportunities that are abound at JKIA. If the Emirates, Qatar Airways, the Etihads of this world had an opportunity to use JKIA as their hub when rockets, drones, and missiles were flying all over in the Middle East. And because it is not the end of wars in the world, we must be prepared. At least in this region, we do not foresee any wars. And the only challenge that we had was that of insecurity coming from activities of terrorists. And that is why you will see there is an additional allocation in this budget to the National Intelligence Service for intelligence gathering to ensure that we continue to safeguard our borders, and also additional resources to our armed forces and our policemen and women to ensure that our country remains safe. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, with those very many remarks, I beg to second this motion and urge the House, since we debated this yesterday, to just allow the Speaker to propose, and God willing, we can put the question as the Speaker indulging us. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, honorable members, I therefore propose the question that the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, be now read a second time. Honorable members, we have a maximum of 30 minutes on this. Honorable Victor Koech, member for Chepalungu, you'll have the first bite.
Actually, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was rising actually under Standing Order number 95, based on the fact that yesterday members of this House deliberated and debated on the same. I have a feeling that the mood of the House, and I request Speaker that the mover be called upon to reply.
Honorable members, a member has risen in his place to request the mover to reply. May I put the question that the mover be called to reply? As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you. Thank you very much to all the members of this House for fast-tracking this very important bill. And Honorable Speaker, I want to also reiterate that this bill is very, very important because there are so many government programs that need to be fast-tracked. And because we are also going to face elections very soon, Honorable Speaker, we don't want to leave any project behind, including those that have been already procured. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to reply.
Honorable members, I therefore put the question that the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, be now read a second time. As many as are of a contrary opinion, as many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the consolidated fund and the application towards the service of the year ending 30th June 2026, and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, Committee of the Whole House.
Order members. Order members, honorable members, we are now in the Committee of the Whole House for the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026.
First schedule.
I propose the question that the first schedule be part of the bill. Mover, are you ready? Honorable Atandi, are you ready to move? Mover, are you ready? Move.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, I move that the first schedule to the bill be deleted and replaced with the following new schedule. I believe members. Vote 1. Vote 1 R1011, recurrent expenditure. The amount required in the year ending June 30th, June 2026 for current expenses of the Executive Office of the President in the following programs. Program 0603 000 government.
Honorable Chair, budget. You don't have to read the whole of it.
Thank you.
I just need you to move that you replace.
Thank you.
With the schedule, the
Thank
first
you.
schedule be deleted and replaced. After you move that, give the justification.
Thank you. That the first, let me repeat again, Honorable Chair, that the first schedule to the bill be deleted and replaced with the following new schedule. We are, Honorable Chair, we are increasing the vote that goes to the office of the President, and on the government printing services, we are increasing 15 million shillings.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. If you want to speak to this, use the intervention. Makali Mulu.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Just wondering, do we have a new order paper? Because what I have seems...
There is a supplementary order paper. Sergeant at Arms, the speaker had already said we have a supplementary order paper. Can it be circulated?
Please, let it be shared so that we follow up the debate.
Get a supplementary order paper to Honorable Makali. Honorable Rueda, are you on this one? I see you on my screen. No. Honorable Salasia, are you on this?
Yes. Yes. Madam Chair, from my own observation, you will realize that as much as we are increasing the money going to the office of the presidency, there is a key observation that needs also to be observed. And Honorable Member, because you realize that these monies that are going there, they are going to, by the end of this financial year, they are going to be spent. But you will realize that in budget estimates, most of the monies, the absorption rates were very low. Maybe up to 70% of the money were not absorbed. This one shows that when members here in this Honorable House were against the EGP, the executive didn't want to listen. And so, honorable members, as much as they were increasing, we should also look at the absorption and look at the ministries, and so because they are saying that they want to go to the Singapore when the absorption rate is very low. So, Bwana Chair, I think it's very high.
You have made your point, Honorable Salasia. These were also canvassed yesterday in the debate.
Thank you.
Very well. Honorable members, I therefore put the question that the first schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the first schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose the question that the second schedule be part of the bill. Mover to move amendment. You'll do the same thing you did with the first schedule.
Honorable Chair, I would like to move that the second schedule to the bill be deleted and replaced with the new, following the new schedule. Honorable Chair, after the committees made amendments to the bill that was tabled by National Treasury, we have consolidated all the amendments here, and that is the reason why we are deleting the bill, the first schedule, and replacing the new bill that is now, the new schedule that's now capturing all the changes that were made. Honorable Chair, I move.
Very well. I propose the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. I don't see intent for any member to speak. I now put the question that the second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as that have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that the second schedule as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as that have that opinion say aye? Will as many as that have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 3 and 4.
These have no amendments. I propose the question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as that have that opinion say aye? Will as many as that have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question that clause 5 be part of the bill. Mover to move amendment.
Honorable Chair, I move that the bill be amended by deleting clause 5 and substituting therefore with the following new clause. The supply granted for the services for the year ending 30th June 2026 with respect to the votes. The votes are already, as highlighted here, Honorable Chair. I think the members have the order paper.
Yes.
The supplementary, so they can be able to see them there. The reductions, the same principle that we are reflecting the changes that were made by the departmental committees. Thank you.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the global question that clause 5 be as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Move amendment.
I move that the bill be amended by deleting clause 2, substituting therefore the following new clause, that the National Treasury may issue the sum of 271,871,458,510 shillings out of the consolidated fund and apply it towards the supply granted for the service of the year ending 30th June 2026. Honorable Speaker, this is also in respect of the changes which were made on the original bill which was tabled by National Treasury. Thank you.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
No amendment. I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, we are done with the committee of the whole. Mover to move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Very well. I put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, and its approval thereof with amendments. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Honorable members, Madam Speaker.
Chairperson.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, and approved the same with amendments.
Mover, Chair.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request the Honorable Majority Leader to second the motion for the agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Majority Leader.
I second.
Thank you, honorable members. I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I now put the question. I put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, be now read at that time. I also request the Honorable Majority Leader to second.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
Thank you. I propose the question that the Supplementary Appropriations, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026 be now read at that time. I put the question. I therefore put the question, which is that the Supplementary Appropriations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026 be now read at that time. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the consolidated fund and the application towards the service of the year ending 30th June 2026 and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes.
Next order.
Order number 10, motion. Consideration of the draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Remuneration and Benefits of State and Other Public Officers Regulations 2025.
Chair. Committee on Delegated Legislation, I can see you in the House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the draft Salaries and Remuneration and Benefits of State and Other Public Officers Regulations 2025, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 12th March 2026, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 26(2), subsection 2 of the Salaries and Remuneration Act, CAR 412D, this House approves the draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Remuneration and Benefits State and Other Public Officers 2025 regulations with amendments. Madam Speaker, these SRC regulations were first presented to the committee in 2012. We considered these regulations and we recommended to the House to be annulled, and the House annulled because there were very many inconsistencies, errors, and in some cases, they were unlawful. They were in contradiction of the Parent Act itself. These regulations, when they were first submitted, there was no public participation. The Public Service Commission was never consulted. The Parliamentary Service Commission was never consulted. The Judicial Service Commission was never consulted. And so we found that the regulations were inconsistent with Article 10 and Article 118 of the Constitution. These regulations were amended and thereafter brought to the House for reconsideration. The committee has reconsidered the draft regulations. As you know, Madam Speaker, it is a requirement of the law, the SRC Act. It requires that the SRC forwards to this House the regulations in draft form for approval before they are gazetted or published, Madam Speaker. And so that is what they have done. These regulations are what we call in law sua generis, because ordinarily we normally consider only regulations that have been published and or in the alternative, they are forwarded to the committee for pre-publication scrutiny. But in this case, the law requires that this House approves the regulations in draft form once we are satisfied that the regulations are constitutional, they are in line with the Parent Act and together with the Statutory Instruments Act, Madam Speaker. In compliance with Section 16 of the Statutory Instruments Act, the committee held a pre-publication scrutiny meeting with the SRC on the 11th of April 2025. During this meeting and subsequent considerations, the committee examined the legislative framework, the scope of the proposed regulations, and the extent of stakeholder participation. Article 23, 203, 230, sub-article 4 of the Constitution mandates the SRC to set and regularly review the remuneration and benefits of state officers and advise the national and county governments on the remuneration and benefits of other public officers. In discharging its mandate and function, the SRC is guided by the principles set out in Article 230, sub-article 5 of the Constitution, and in particular, Section 12.1 of the Salaries and Remuneration Act, Cap 412, which includes, among other things, Madam Speaker, that the total public compensation bill is fiscally sustainable to ensure that the public services are able to attract and sustain and retain skills required to execute their functions. And also, number 2 is to recognize productivity, and finally, performance, transparency, and fairness, and equal remuneration to persons for work of equal value. Prior to the establishment of SRC, the wage awards were granted to subsectors of the public service without regard to the implications on other sectors of the public service. Macroeconomic stability and external competitiveness, effectiveness and service delivery are together with affordability of such awards. To address these challenges, Madam Speaker, and to ensure fair and transparent harmonization of public service salaries and value for money, the 2010 Constitution then established the SRC with the intention of upholding the principles of public finance and fiscal responsibility, the budgetary process, and the complexity of salaries and benefits determination for public officers. The draft regulations, therefore, seek to facilitate the achievement of fiscal sustainable, transparent, fair, and harmonized pay in the public service by aligning salary reviews with the national budgeting and planning circles, providing clear principles and criteria for determining remuneration and benefits, establishing procedures for job evaluation to ensure equity in pay, defining factors for rewarding productivity and performance, and outlining the process for SRC advisory input in collective bargaining on public-funded remuneration. Madam Speaker, the committee made various observations and proposed a number of amendments to specific clauses and directed the SRC to make necessary adjustments to the draft regulations. Consequently, or subsequently, Madam Speaker, the SRC made those amendments and re-forwarded the regulation for consideration by the committee, in which it did so on the 13th of July 2025. And the same, and we considered the adjustments that had been made to those regulations, and we found that the same were constitutional, the same were in accordance with the Enabling Act and also the Statutory Instruments Act. And we were satisfied, Madam Speaker, that the regulations in its draft form could be approved by this House for purposes of the same being gazetted by SRC to ensure that we allow them to carry out their mandate without a lot of inhibitions and in a manner in which it is fair, transparent, and responsible, Madam Speaker. And so this regulation seeks to remove subjectivity that has always been the problem in salary negotiations and particularly the CPAs that have been negotiated in parastatals, and also to remove also subjectivity by SRC itself, in which they sometimes reject proposals without proper explanation and without giving adequate reasons for why they have done so. The committee, therefore, is convinced and persuaded that the regulations are consistent with the Kenyan framework, with the Kenyan legislation, and we are therefore proposing and recommending to this House, Madam Speaker, that these draft regulations by SRC be approved by this House. And with those comments, Madam Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable Oluoch, the Member of Parliament for Mathare, to second.
Order.
Thank you.
Nyeri and Kiambu is very loud at the back. Please consult in lower tones. We know that there is a lot of consultation happening between Nyeri and Kiambu. Oh, it is Laikipia and Kiambu. It's allowed, but make it lower tones. Thank you very much. Please give him the mic. Give the chair the mic, please.
I was saying, Madam Speaker, I beg to move and to request the Honorable Oluoch to second. And with the comments that you have just made, Madam Speaker, we could recommend to the SRC that they should consider some members who are not orderly in this House. Their salaries could be reduced when we pass these regulations.
We should be very careful while doing that, because maybe what they're discussing is very useful to the country, and their salaries may end up being increased. So we will not do that. So seconder, Honorable Boer, before the seconding. Yes, leader.
Thank you. I don't know whether the mover forgot, Madam Speaker, that there's a very peculiar consultation also going on between Honorable Ichungwa and Honorable Triza. And with what is going on politically, I don't know if there's a new merger that is coming up. Maybe they can clarify, because this is a very unique consultation for those who know politics.
I had actually noted it, but because of its sensitivity, I had decided not to mention it. And now that it has been mentioned, I think I need to give a chance to the majority leader to say a word.
Honorable Speaker, you know Honorable Millie. We've come from very far with Honorable Millie. Yes, in our long-lasting relationship over the last close to 15 years. And I don't want to say she's jealous, but my sister Triza hails from Kiambu. In fact, a small village called Nyashava in Juja constituency. That is where she was born and brought up. And she appreciates that last week on Friday, none other than His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya was in her village to commission the groundbreaking for Nyashava and Juja affordable housing. And a whole new establishment with a new school, primary school, high school, and a level 3 hospital. And she was just telling me, when I see the president, to convey her thanks and the people of Nyashava to the president. And to assure the president, because the president nominated her as a nominated member of UDA, that she will stand with the president and the UDA party, now and in the future. That was a consultation, Honorable Speaker. And she was also condoling me that she saw me being heckled, and she told me that the people who were heckling in Nyashava were actually not her neighbors in Nyashava. They had been brought there by the governor for Kiambu, in the usual Kiambu politics, which we take in our stride and move on, because we shall never be discouraged or dissuaded from doing what we do in the best interest of the people of Kiambu. And indeed, as I assured Honorable Teresa, the people of Juja, that road that goes to her house, because she has a house there, will be tarmacked within the next 2 months. So will the road from Matangine, Kimbo, to Wakairo, also in Juja constituency. In addition to the affordable housing units, the hostels at the Jomo Kenyatta University, where Honorable Koimburi has been very instrumental in pushing for hostels for students from Jomo Kenyatta University. And Honorable Koimburi was there last week when he hosted the president. I know Karoli, or is it Karoli Omondi? You know nowadays, Honorable Speaker, you cannot tell whether there is a Kalonzo or Karoli. I know Karoli Omondi is excited because Karoli had purported to be the leader of minority from a letter sent by Kalonzo. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Honorable Millie Odhiambo, I told you that that seemed to be a very important and deep conversation, and it is highly encouraged. You know, Chair, before seconding, you had wanted to say something. Have you dropped your interest? Have you dropped your interest so that I can go to the seconding?
Didn't.
Okay.
No, you know, Speaker, I was going to respond because, you know, I was the one who had the mic, and I thought the problem with Honorable Millie was the color of the two. Because, you know, the opposites attract one another. And so that is the reason why she had some problems with it.
Anyway, members, let us proceed with the business. Second, who is there? Wandeto, you want to weigh in on this subject? No, I want the seconder. Yes, Honorable Oluoch, please proceed. Because you have very important business, let us proceed with business.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the reports on the draft Salaries and Remunerations Commission and Benefits of State Officers and Other Officers Regulations 2025. Madam Speaker, the purport of these regulations, as highlighted very ably by the Chair, was to facilitate achievement of fiscally transparent, fair, harmonized pay in public service. That's one of the things that the draft regulation sought to do. It also sought to do outlining of the principles for the Salaries and Remuneration Commissions in terms of the advisory input in collective bargaining agreements. It also sought to provide clear principles and criteria for determining remuneration and benefits, establishing the procedures for evaluation to ensure equity and transparency. Honorable Speaker, as per Article 234 of the Constitution, the SSC is mandated to set and regularly review remunerations of state officers. And these state officers are both national and county. Under the Statutory Instruments Act, it, however, imposes a mandatory requirement to comply with the provisions of Article 118 of the Constitution. This is mirrored under the similar provisions in the Act, that is the Statutory Instruments Act. When these regulations were first tabled before the committee, they appeared to have been, and indeed were deemed to be in breach of the Statutory Instruments Act, as read together with Article 118, and therefore the committee recommended their annulment. This necessitated the SRC therefore to republish, and this House will note that there are two procedures through which statutory instruments come into law. The first is a negative procedure in which regulations come into force 7 days after publication unless they are annulled. The second procedure, however, and which is what is now applying in the instant case, is that specific acts, such as the salaries and remuneration one, require that any regulations that are brought under this particular act must first come to this House, so that the House applies its mind to itself and determine whether the prerequisites that have been set in terms of what meets the statutory instruments and the regulations have been complied with. And so the committee, having then looked at the republished regulations, applied its mind to the issues that had led to the nullification of the first instrument, approved or proposed that these draft regulations of the Salaries and Remuneration Act, benefits of state officers and other public officers 2025 be approved. Therefore, I have no hesitation, Madam Speaker, that in light of the compliance that these regulations now meet in terms of both the Constitution and the Statutory Instruments Act, this House do proceed to approve these regulations. Madam Speaker, in light of this, I urge that this House proceeds to approve, and I therefore second. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I now propose the question, which is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Remuneration and Benefits of State and Other Public Officers, Regulations 2025, laid on the table of this House on Thursday, 12th March 2026, and pursuant to provisions of Section 26(2) of the Salaries and the Remuneration Act, Cap 412D, this House approves the Draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Remuneration and Benefits of State and Other Public Officers 2025 with amendments. Yes, you may proceed.
I thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, it is important to underscore that outside the Budget and Appropriations Committee with a membership of 25, this is the second well-represented committee that we have in the House with 21 members, Madam Speaker. And this feeds into the complexities involved and the amount of work that goes into this particular committee, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, just under a week ago, the committee had to deal with more than 15 regulations at a go, and that informed a retreat that happened in Mombasa, Madam Speaker. And besides that, there are also very many pending regulations that need the participation of this House. And therefore, this is one of the most important committees in this House, chaired by my friend and brother, Honorable Chepkonga. Madam Speaker, what is before us, the motion on the draft regulations by Salaries and Remuneration Commission needs to be supported, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you've been taken through the history, how it began, the inconsistencies that were involved, the typographical matters that arose, together with the inconsistencies with the laws that established Salaries and Remuneration Commission. And that therefore informed an annulment, Madam Speaker. Now, they had to reinvent the wheel and start the process all over again. This is one committee that will never allow any usurpation of legal processes that are involved into the drafting of regulations, Madam Speaker. And the annulment, therefore, had to be corrected in a way that, therefore, responds to the aspirations of our laws, Madam Speaker. Every regulation is anchored on the Statutory Instruments Act, and any that does not align with the tenets of this particular act definitely falls by the wayside. And therefore, what we now have before us responds to all the necessities of our laws, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there has been a haphazard way of apportionment of either allowances or salaries cutting across our public service. Public officers and state officers, as enshrined in Article 260 of our Constitution, Madam Speaker, have had to undergo a lot of disparities, Madam Speaker. You have a parastatal, for instance, that sits at the very position of another, getting more allowances to the detriment of the other, Madam Speaker. And therefore, the regulations that are before us creates a level of uniformity and certainty when it comes to remuneration, Madam Speaker. Not just on allowances, but also on salaries, Madam Speaker, because at the end of the day, they serve the same government. The enactment, or rather the creation of our Constitution in the year 2010 was meant to address so many issues, Madam Speaker. One of which was the formation of Salaries and Remuneration Commission, because we understood before then that there were a lot of disparities cutting across the public service. This is one of independent institutions that have been granted real independence, that they have to then decide on this fundamental issue, Madam Speaker. And there are many cases, including the mismatch on Mwongozo guidelines, Madam Speaker, that have, in a way or another, ended up in court. And the courts have consistently referred to Salaries and Remuneration Commission as the only organ with powers to determine either salaries or allowances given to state officers or public officers, Madam Speaker. And therefore, the regulations here that is set before us is meant to not just correct the ills that may have permeated into the system, but also to put certainty going into the future. That somebody who is interested in joining public service does not necessarily have to live either in fear or at a level of uncertainty that they do not know how much they're going to earn, what allowances according to regions will be attracted. So this therefore settles these fundamental concerns once and for all. And therefore, I support and I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Esther Passaris, member for Nairobi City County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to contribute to the consideration of the Draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission Regulations 2025. Madam Speaker, I acknowledge the importance of these regulations. A structured and transparent and accountable remuneration framework is essential in managing our public wage bill and in ensuring consistency across all government entities. However, Madam Speaker, as we pursue fiscal discipline, we must not lose sight of the human reality behind the numbers. These regulations seek to introduce fixed and standardized salary structures across the public service. While this brings order, we must be cautious that it does not introduce rigidity, a system that does not allow room for progression, performance, recognition, or adjustment to inflation risks, demoralizing many of the very workforce that we depend on to deliver essential services to our citizens. Madam Speaker, the clarification that pensionable salary will be based on basic pay, excluding allowances, may streamline the system, but we must ask ourselves, does this strengthen or weaken the long-term financial security of the public servants? We must also reflect on equity. These regulations cover both national and county officers. If not carefully implemented, they may unintentionally widen disparities
between sectors, cadres, and levels of government. Madam Speaker, a remuneration framework must not only be fiscally sustainable, it must also be fair, competitive, and responsive to the cost of living. If we fail in this regard, we risk losing skilled professionals to the private sector, or even have a brain drain outside the country. Public servants must remain a place where talent is attracted, nurtured, and retained, not a place where people endure. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I emphasize the need for transparency and meaningful stakeholder engagement. This process must not be purely technocratic. It must listen to the voices of the workers in the counties and in the institutions on the ground. Mr. Speaker, as we deliberate on these regulations, let us ensure that we do not create a system that is financially neat on paper, but socially unjust in practice. A fair wage is not a cost. It is an investment in dignity, service, delivery, and national stability. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
The Honorable Chepalungu, you want to say something on this?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I also rise to support the motion before us on the draft, on the consideration of the draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission recommendation and benefits of the state and other public officers regulation. And Honorable Speaker, as I rise to support, it is very critical to understand that this regulation is coming so as to standardize the salaries from the parastatals, from the different departments, that is for any state officer. It is quite important as well, Honorable Speaker, that we see it through as members of this House, that when this regulation is implemented, it should be implemented in a fair way, so that, Honorable Speaker, we do not see a situation whereby any parastatal or any state officer will use this particular regulation to undermine or to demean any of its employees. It is important, Honorable Speaker, as well, to note that maybe some of the parastatals or some of the departments or government entities were waiting for this so as to cut salaries for its employees. It is important to note that this is not the will of this particular regulation. This regulation in its entirety is going only to standardize, so that as you get employment, you are sure of your remuneration as a new employee. Honorable Speaker, I rise to equally contribute and to support the motion before us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support and commend the Committee on Delegated Legislation for initially rejecting the regulations that were brought before, and this shows that this House has teeth to bite. This shows that some thorough work happens in our committees. The fact that the SRC has now submitted revised the regulations is a good thing, and I fully support the position of the committee. Mr. Speaker, remuneration is very, very important. And in this country, it is one of the things that we have contended with for a long time, especially with regards to the ballooning wage bill. Mr. Speaker, you are aware in this country the money we collect, whether it's by way of taxes, even borrowing, a huge percentage of it goes to just meeting the wage bill. The other portion goes to meeting our debt and very little is left for development. And as a country, unless we put in place mechanisms to check the ballooning wage bill, the wage bill threatens to sink the existence of this country. So a strengthened SRC with proper regulations will ensure that the wage bill is sustainable. We'll also ensure that we are paying what we call equal pay for equal work. Because sometimes we find some of the bottom of the pyramid workers are paid very little. And yet, they are the ones who are having to contend with all the challenges of the cost of living in the country. So ensuring that there is fairness across all the cadres of the pay grades is very, very important. But Mr. Speaker, something else I wish to note, and maybe it's something for this House to consider going forward, is that we also have multiplicity of agencies determining salaries, especially I know we have the Public Service, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, and sometimes other commissions like the Judicial Service Commission, the Parliamentary Service Commission, the Teacher Service Commission, and the others, sometimes are not subject to the same sort of grading and pay scales, and this brings sometimes confusion in the public service. So as we go on, it is very important that maybe the whole issue of salaries is determined from a single source, so that across the board, in all the public service and parastatus, we are able to have a harmonized pay structure so that we can have also a motivated public service and a sustainable wage bill. So, Mr. Speaker, I rise to support. Thank you.
The Honorable Ibrahim Sanei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The 2025 regulations, SRC regulation, goes to the core of public trust, fiscal discipline, and equity in our governance. Mr. Speaker, the Kenyan citizens are really weighed down by the high cost of living. Parliament must offer stewardship in ensuring fair and prudent use of these public resources, the taxes we collect. So SRC has the constitutional mandate to set and review state and public officers' remuneration. This regulation, therefore, Mr. Speaker, strengthens the same mandates of SRC and proposes to come up with a structure that is clear and an enforceable framework. Parliament should therefore ensure that that framework is legal, practical, and fair as much as is possible, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the wage bill, our wage bill has been very unsustainable, often crowding developmental expenditure, which is badly needed in this country. This regulation, Mr. Speaker, controls the recurrent expenditure without undermining service delivery, meaning there will be more funds for development at disposal if recurrent expenditure is maintained at the requisite levels, Mr. Speaker. We must therefore ask ourselves, do we really allocate money in a way that benefits the common man? If we are to do that, then this regulation goes in a big way to make sure that we take care of the interest of the Kenyan public. In regard to equity and fairness in remuneration, Mr. Speaker, there has been a lot of discrepancies, disparities for work, similar work done by people across agencies and institutions. This regulation targets to harmonize that so that salaries and benefits operate on the principle of equal pay for equal work, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, it will appear discriminative that the same work done by different people are paid differentially. That is discrimination to some, in a very big way. Mr. Speaker, this is essential for morale of our public service. It is essential for cohesion and professionalism in the public sector if it is so done. Further, Mr. Speaker, allowances and hidden benefits have always been a problem to create disparities in remuneration and salaries. This has always circumvented salary controls, leading to inflated compensation packages. Mr. Speaker, these regulations rightfully propose that there are clear ways and caps on allowances. They will not be as haphazard as they were. This will enhance transparency and eliminate abuse of public funds in the long term, Mr. Speaker. On performance-based remuneration, Mr. Speaker, this is a welcome move that is being espoused in this regulation. There should be a tendency, or we must develop the practice of rewarding not only the holders of offices, but for delivering measurable results, Mr. Speaker. Quite often, we pay office holders without regard to outputs, the work they do. What do they do for citizens? Are they of impact to the society? That should be at the center of remuneration, not just titles and offices they hold, Mr. Speaker. This will ensure performance evaluation. This will ensure public officers are rewarded not only for holding office, but for delivering measurable results. Ensuring performance evaluation systems and objective, transparent, and free from manipulation. It will be about professionalism, competence, and work output, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we need to protect the talent of the human capital pool of this country and motivate them. This regulation really delves into that aspect. While physical discipline is a critical thing in this country, we must avoid a system that demotivates and drives away skilled workers in this country. Competitive and fair compensation is necessary to attract and retain talent in public service and service delivery consequently. A balance must be struck, Mr. Speaker, between the cost control and workforce motivation if we are to have a good working force for this nation. The implementation on challenges of transition is a key concern, Mr. Speaker. Some people will be affected if these regulations will be implemented. Some salaries or some remunerations may be brought downward, so there will be issues with the transition, especially where benefits are reduced. Institutions need clear guidelines and capacity support to implement the challenges, such challenges as they occur effectively, Mr. Speaker. A phased-out implementation strategy will come in handy, Mr. Speaker. Public participation and transparency is something of importance, Mr. Speaker, to this regulation. This is a very important, significant regulation that attempts to handle remuneration and salaries holistically in this country. And to that extent, public participation and how that shall be done transparently should be given what it deserves. Regulations affecting all taxpayers and public servants needs a robust public participation, Mr. Speaker. And that is essential component or an essential requirement in our Constitution. Mr. Speaker, there is need to introduce safeguards, clear safeguards to prevent manipulation of performance metrics. If salaries and remunerations are to be pegged on performance, then the performance metrics must be safeguarded carefully, jealously, to make sure, and in doing so, we need regular reviews aligned to inflation and economic conditions of the time. And we also need to come up with oversight mechanisms for compliance, real compliance, Mr. Speaker. And finally, we need political and moral responsibility if these regulations are to see the light of the day. We must rise as Parliament above petty personal interests and stand for the Kenyan workforce, the engines that drive our economy, our workers. We need to motivate them, come up with laws that serve their interests, and give responsible guidelines, Mr. Speaker. The public are watching. It is time to support our working class. With those few remarks, I support.
The Honorable David Kiplagat of Soy. Being there are no further interest on this, could you request the mover to reply?
Yeah, I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I'd like to thank the honorable members who have contributed very effectively and in a very robust manner to the regulations, the draft regulations. Mr. Speaker, as you have just had very many members who have spoken to this, there is need indeed to ensure that the salaries that are approved by SRC will ensure that there is fairness and value for money, and also ensure that there's productivity in the public service. That we do not only pay people because they have been employed. They must be rewarded for work done. And we hope that SRC will ensure that those institutions, and in particular, like for instance, Parliament, Mr. Speaker, you know, members are here all the way like yesterday up to 9:10 p.m. They should be adequately remunerated for doing work that belongs to the public, Mr. Speaker. It is not something personal. It's not point of order, it's just...
Order. Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm not too sure whether the honorable member is my junior or my senior in law. I can't remember, so I'll let it pass. But I just wanted to know, Mr. Speaker, because I'm listening to the honorable member, and he's talking about how members of parliament sit here until 10 p.m., they sit until midnight, and they are not remunerated, you know, in a manner that shows the kind of work that members of parliament do. Mr. Speaker, yet in the regulation, I have not seen them addressing the issue of the fact that members of parliament, when they get into parliament, like other civil servants, there is never any salary increment.
Are they civil servants?
Well, they're not civil servants, Mr. Speaker, but they're state officers, and salaries and remuneration set standards even for that. Okay. And I'm just wondering, how come he has not mentioned the fact that members of parliament are not treated the same? They don't get any salary increment, no house allowance. Since I joined here, the same salary since I joined parliament.
Your point is made, but I don't think there's anything out of order.
It's out of order because he is misrepresenting facts.
The Honorable Chief Konga, please put the facts straight.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, I have a lot of respect for the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, being my junior, of course. But being also...
I thought so.
Being also,
I thought so. She
being
couldn't.
also a very senior member of this house. You know, she's a very senior member of the only reason why I respect her, Mr. Speaker, is she's a very senior member of this house. Very senior member. And in fact, when she speaks, we all listen. And you know, I remember one day reading somewhere where the late Justice Madan found two lawyers who were quarreling, one senior and one junior. And he told the junior one, please respect the senior one because he has the benefit of experience which you don't have. Then he turned to the senior one and he told the senior one, be very careful. Respect the junior because he has the benefit of recent learning. So, and I know, I'm aware that Honorable Millie Odhiambo has the benefit of recent learning, so I must listen to her. New knowledge, which in fact has added to my contribution, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I totally agree with that, that in fact we are not receiving equal pay like all other public servants, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know, when I was a commissioner with Parliamentary Service Commission, we ensured that members of staff of Parliament are paid late allowance for staying with us up to 9 to 10 p.m. Mr. Speaker, there is no equal treatment that we get for sitting here. Mr. Speaker, we hope that the SRC will consider our application for late allowance, Mr. Speaker. You can imagine by the time we get to our houses, and I can see Honorable Fatuma, the person who claims to be the only one who has network in this country, in fact, listening very keenly. I am aware she arrives in her constituency at 3 a.m., having left this place and going to serve the people there. Mr. Speaker, there must be late allowance for even arriving in the morning in your constituency in the quest of ensuring that you serve your constituents in our representative role, Mr. Speaker. You know, these people don't recognize that we have 4 roles, which others don't have. We have the role of representation, legislation, oversight, and budgeting, Mr. Speaker. And development also, Mr. Speaker. You know, Mr. Speaker, you know, Honorable Millie, that's why I told you she has the benefit of recent learning more than myself. She knows Article 94 says members of Parliament resolve issues that are of concern to the people, including what she has just said. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank members for being very conscientious in their presentation and submissions with regard to these regulations. And with those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you and request that this matter be concluded tomorrow. I thank you very much.
Thank you, members. The decision on this matter will be made the next time it's doesn't order paper for obvious reasons. The Honorable Ndeto, what is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, I think there are many things out of order, but the one I rise on is on standing order number 35, to notify you that I don't think we have quorum in this house.
Order number 35. Is it true that we don't correct? So then, I therefore order the quorum bell be rung for the next 10 minutes.
Well, the business of the House has been interrupted by a quorum hitch. This is after the member for Tetu, Honorable Geoffrey Wandetu, stood at a point of order to allow the Speaker that the House does not have a quorum during the proceedings. And the Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung. This is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 35. So that is a bell to inform members or even alert members of the National Assembly that the quorum of the House during its proceedings is not present, and that their presence inside the chamber is highly required for them to be able to come back into the House and enable the House continue with the business that was already underway. Earlier on, the House was considering the regulations by the SRC regarding the Draft Salaries and Remuneration Commission, remuneration and benefits of state and public officers, regulations for the year 2025, or that were published during the year 2025. This was a motion that was moved by the chairperson, Committee on Delegated Legislation, that is Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, indicating that SRC had submitted these documents to the committee. However, the committee had indicated that there were inconsistencies in some of the documents that had earlier been forwarded to the committee, and SRC redrafted until the last document that the chairperson indicated that the regulations were consistent with the Constitution. And in this particular motion, the House sought, or rather the committee sought to have the House adopt the report after approve and also approve the draft salaries and remuneration commission regulations for the remuneration and benefits of state and other public officers. However, this was with amendments. These are regulations that, according to the committee, seek to remove subjectivity regarding the salaries, which they indicated that have always been the problem in terms of salary negotiations, as well as in the agreements that are in the collective bargaining by different state agencies, and also to be able to facilitate achievement of fiscal and also be able to harmonize payment for civil servants. So a debate on this particular motion was on, and the mover of the motion, Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, had been called upon to reply. He had replied, however, the putting of the question was postponed, and that is when that quorum hitch was noticed, and the Speaker directed that the quorum bell be rung at the entrance of the National Assembly. We have just seen that more members are making their way into the House to be able to enable the House attain that much needed quorum during the proceedings of the House. This is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 35, that there has to be a quorum also during the proceedings of the House. So that is a bell that is on, and we are waiting for the members of the National Assembly to be able to get to the House and continue with the business. Earlier on, also, we saw the House consider the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2026, a bill that went through the second reading. However, the contents of that bill originate, or most of it stem from the Supplementary Estimates 1 that the House considered during the Wednesday afternoon, or even afternoon sitting during the evening hours. And the House went all the way to 9:10, debating or considering those supplementary estimates. This afternoon, we have seen the Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee, Honorable Samuel Atandi, take the House through the second reading, or have the bill be read a second time. The bill was also considered at the Committee of the Whole House. And this is a bill that seeks to give the government the go-ahead, so to speak, to be able to withdraw the monies that have been approved by the House from the Consolidated Fund to be able to be used in various service delivery to the people of Kenya. The monies that have been approved in the Supplementary Estimates 1 is a total of 316.7 billion shillings. And this is an addition of about 7%, as had been indicated earlier by the Chairperson, Budget Appropriations Committee, that the main budget that, all right, let's listen in.
Rang the bell for the last 10 minutes and we failed to achieve quorum. At the time, we ordered the bell to be stopped. I don't remember as time now being 5:02 p.m. This House stands adjourned until Tuesday, 7th of April 2026 at 2:30 p.m. Enjoy your Easter.